out of bed, no, drugs make me bad. I can't get out of bed, yeah, drugs are bad. I can't get out of bed, no, drugs make me bad. I can't get out of bed, yeah.
Welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Crean. I was sentenced to 14 months in Bronzefield Women's Maximum Security Prison here in the UK. Today we are doing a story time. And this is a crazy story time. Okay, so I was on the run from the police, and I'm going to explain how that ended up happening. And I outsmarted the police not once, not twice, but 3 times. I escaped from the police 3 times. In the most funny ways that you can think, right? So let's rewind it back. So I was in a really abusive relationship. Now I'm laughing about it now, but at the time I was in a very mentally unwell state. My hair was falling out. I've put weight on now, but I've gone from a size 14 to a size 6 because I couldn't eat because of the abuse. It was so intense. So I was being abused, and allegedly, as my abuser, he'd attacked me and he'd walked off, and allegedly I threw a plastic pot across the room and it hit him in the head, and he had to have his head stitched together, and I got arrested for GBH with intent. Well, obviously there was no intent. Anyway, this is all alleged. So when I'd gone down to the police station and they'd released me on bail under investigation, the CPS had put a temporary restraining order on me, which is ironic because it should have been the other way around. So we didn't actually live together. He used to stay at mine all the time, so he pretty much did, but he had his own flat, which was just absolute state. So was mine. He'd absolutely, in 2 years, destroyed everything I owned. So when I was in rehab, the council had come out and they gutted the whole house. So I had nothing in the house. I was sleeping on an airbed on the floor. So my claim hadn't come through. I was too mentally unwell to be working at this point. I had no food, right? It was coming up to Christmas. I had no phone, no TV. My electric was about to go out. I had no gas, and I hadn't eaten in days. And where the police had put my front door through, the whole letterbox had come off. So just a hole, literally just a hole. And all the cold air was coming through this hole. And I remember it was so cold, I could see my breath. Now I would have, if I was allowed, I would have been at his, because he had TV, he had heating. And do you know what the thing is? He took every bit of my money. So he was the one that had stuff, and I was left with nothing. Nothing. Right? So I'm in a desperate situation. I can't contact any of my family because I have no phone. I have no TV. I have no heating. I'm starving hungry. And it's Christmas Day, and I am seriously thinking of unaliving at this point, and I'm not exaggerating. I was in absolute despair. And then I'm laying there just staring at the wall with tears just rolling down my face. I never ever want to feel that pain again. I honestly thought I was never ever going to get better either. I felt like I was stuck like it. Anyway, so I'm laying there in this depressed state, and I hear a knocking at the door, and I think, oh my God, who is it? Someone's come to see me. Thank God someone's come to see me. And he knew that I wasn't allowed to see him. And when I've opened the door, he's standing there. And behind him, in the road, is a taxi with its lights on. And he's like, you can't stay here. You've got no food. I know you've got no money. You're cold. Look, no one's going to know you come with me. You can't stay here on your own on Christmas. You've got to come with me. He was like, I've got you some presents. I've got you Christmas dinner. We can watch a movie together. Really being nice. So I stupidly went, but it was when you're in that situation, what would you do? And you know, in the cold with no food. So I made a decision, which backfired, to go to his house. And everything was fine for a few days. Like he'd got me into a false sense of security, and then he got drunk and he attacked me, and he pinned me into the sofa by my throat, and I was stuck in like I couldn't get out of it. I can't remember if it happened. So much happened, it's hard to remember what happened on what day. I can't remember if it was actually Christmas Day this happened, or it might have been a few days later. But anyway, it doesn't really matter, it happened. He pinned me down and I was stuck in the corner of the sofa, and so I couldn't fight with my fists. All I could do is bite him. Like bite and try and like claw him off me. I did manage to kick him in the and like he did get off me for a second, which gave me a chance to get up, and I ran out of his front door screaming and shouting. Obviously I'm very upset and angry, I was just being attacked, and his neighbour is coming down from the flat above at the same time, and he's gone in to the property of my ex, and my ex has put the act like the narcissists do. He started to play the victim and cry and say that I'd done all this horrible stuff and I'd attacked him, and look, I've got a bite mark, and like really, you know, making it out on me. I didn't know that he was doing this at the time. I assumed he was, because he'd done things like this before, but I knew that he was going to ring the police, because he always rings the police. He's a grass. I never rang the police on him. He was abusing me and I never rang the police, but as soon as I'd fight back, he'd ring the police. It's like, I'm sure he got me round there on purpose to get me in trouble. Like, I think he got satisfaction out of it. He liked the attention from the police, and he liked to see me be in pain and misery. It gave him a buzz. And you know what? He's so ugly. He's so ugly. Like, I don't know what I was doing. It blows my mind that I was even with him in the first place. Like, I'm nothing special, but believe you me, Anyway, I digress. So, I ran off, and I knew he's going to ring the police. I'm going to get the blame, because the police always blame me, because obviously I had fights with the police before, so they're going to blame me. But keep in mind, his last two ex-girlfriends have injunctions on him. Still to this day, they have injunctions on him, right? So before all this happened, I'd been married and stuff. Like, I'd never had any, like, I had a clean record except for a caution when I was 18. So they should have kind of looked at that, really, instead of just blaming it all on the crazy woman. So I ran off. The police have gone around his house. I didn't know this at the time. I found out later. And his neighbour had gone along with his story and said that he could hear through the ceiling it was me. I was the attacker. I was the aggressor. And I don't know whether he actually believed that, because my ex had made him believe it, or if he just went along with it because that was his mate. I will never know. So I've gone on the run, because I knew that the injunction had been put on me, so I knew that I was going to get arrested. So I was sleeping at different people's houses, a couple of friends. The police were actively looking for me. They had gone into my local shops with my mugshot, and I know this because one day I went to go and get a pint of milk, and a lady who works in the petrol station, she knew me, and she had actually gone a little bit away from the petrol station because she was having a cigarette. And she goes, "Don't go in there." And I was like, "What? Why?" I was like, "Am I barred?" And she's like, "No." She's like, the police have been around with your mugshot, and if you go in there, then they've got to ring the police. And I was like, ugh, like, for goodness sake. So I went, I can't remember what was going on, but anyway, I went off, and me and my best friend ended up going to Brighton and hiding out there for a while. I've spoke about that on, I think, on Fran's podcast, but that's a whole other story. That was craziness. Anyway, so I've come back, and I'm staying at people's houses, and So basically, sorry, I'm just trying to recall it all in my mind, so I'm saying it correct, 'cause it's all quite a bit of a jumble. So I was staying at my friend's house, and I really needed to get, I had nothing, like I had no clean clothes, like, and there was like some things that I needed. So I knew the police were looking for me, so I didn't really want to be at my house. I did later on end up moving, but I'm saying it as if I'm there because it's easier. So what I'd done was I'd come back at night, and I had no electric on in the house. It ran out, and like I wasn't staying there, so I'm not going to top it up. And I come in the front door. I couldn't see any police cars outside or anything, so I thought it was safe. So I come in, and I thought maybe they was waiting on my car. But thinking about it now, I think my neighbours were ringing the police, because there's 2 occasions it happened, and there's no way, I'm not a murderer, there's no way they're sitting outside like the whole time waiting for me to come back. Like, I wasn't that much of a danger. And there was a time that they gave the police the key to get into my house, so like I don't trust them now. Like, I don't talk to them anymore. Like, nah, because they're meant to be my friends, you know. Anyway, so I come in, and at the house I was in at the time, I had a living room, and then the kitchen was the other side of it, and there was like a window that used to be an old servant hatch in between, and it had like glass in it. It didn't have like hatches anymore, it just had like glass panel in it. And I was in the kitchen, and I've seen blue torches being shined through my front room window, and I thought, oh no, they're gonna get me. I thought, F, what am I gonna do? Then I've seen blue lights coming through my kitchen window, so I've dropped to the floor, like, so now I'm flat on my belly, and I'm thinking, you gotta think, I'm thinking quick, like, they're gonna get in, what am I gonna do? And actually, I thought, no, this is the time. I've just remembered this, they got in, and they didn't kick the door in. Why is it taking me so long to realise this? My neighbours must have given them the key, because I had my spare key, because I used to get locked out a lot where I was drinking. Oh my God. Oh, got so upset I kicked the camera then. Right. My ADHD, mate, my brain goes so fast, I lose track of what I was saying. Right, so I was in the kitchen, lights coming through the front room, lights coming through the kitchen, I've dropped to the floor, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do? I can't go out the back, and I can't go out the front. And I knew they were going to get in. I knew that they were going to either put the door in, or they were going to get in. So at the time, under my stairs in the kitchen, there was a cupboard, right? And it had a fridge freezer in it. But the cupboard kind of went slanted, so the fridge was here, and it's kind of like slanted. So I've got down the side in the cupboard, down the side of the fridge freezer, and I've squeezed, because I was really slim at the time, like I wasn't eating, squeezed around the back, and I've pulled the fridge freezer in really fast, so because it's slanted as well, they didn't think that I was in there. And because I pulled it back so far, so it looked, so if they thought, oh, she could be in there, if they saw how far back the fridge freezer was, I was thinking they're gonna think, oh no, she's not gonna fit in there. But it was so far back, and my adrenaline was going so fast, and my heart was like boom, 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 boom. And I was trying to keep my breathing slow, because every time I was breathing, it was moving the fridge freezer. And I was like, oh no. And I couldn't move it forward anymore, because at this point, they'd got in the house. They were in the house. They were in the house searching for me. I could hear them opening cupboards and going, Corinne, are you in here? Like I'm going to say, yeah. Like I'm going to go, yeah, actually, yeah, I am. Like, take me to the station. Anyway, and then I heard one of them going, are you sure you saw her come in here? And he's like, I bloody did. I saw her. I'm sure she came in here. Anyway, they couldn't find me, and they left. They left. But do you know what? It wouldn't have been much worse if I was in the station, because there was no electric, and I couldn't leave, because I was like, they're probably going to be sitting outside for a few hours now. So like, I literally just crawled up the stairs and just laid on this airbed and fell asleep in the cold in the dark, really. I had a duvet, but yeah. So next morning, gathered all my bits and then done one. Didn't come back for quite a while. And then, so the next time I was in town, and so I'm walking back through town, and I've seen out the corner of my arse in this police van, and it's slowing down. And it's slowing down. I'm thinking, oh, they've got me this time. Surely they've got me this time. And he rolled the window down. He goes, excuse me. And I went, yeah. He goes, what's your name? I went, Rachel. He goes, oh, I'm really sorry. You look like someone we're looking for. And he drove off. Can you believe it? They had a mugshot of me. How did they mess up like that? Like, seriously, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I got away with it. So then I was hiding out for a little bit longer, and I think, as far as I remember, yeah, my best friend came with me, 100%, yeah. So my best friend at the time came with me, and we were like, I don't know what we were doing here. I can't even really remember if we were getting stuff or I don't even know. But we came back here, and then there was a knock at the door, and there's 2 police officers outside, 2 men. And I thought, oh no. I was like, there's no way that I'm getting away with it this time. There's no way. So I've shouted through what was the letterbox. I said, there's only 2 of you. I said, you need to get some backup. And he went, oh, I'm sure we can manage. And I said, yeah. I said, call on the radio and ask them about how violent I am. And then I said, and if you come in here, you're effing. So you better get back up. Because I wasn't intending on doing any of that. I knew that would give me time to escape, because they'd have to go and call for backup before they could come in here. So me and my friend, we were getting stuff. Yeah, we were packing it in the bags. That was it. We was packing it all in the bags. So we've gone out the back door. We've locked the back door, and then we've run out my back garden. But there's no gate at the back of my back garden. I can't even speak. There's no gate at the back garden where I used to live. It's just like a really high flint wall. And somehow, it's like 6 foot. Somehow we've managed to climb. I think, yeah, I went over first, and my mates helped me up, and then she'd passed me the bags, and she was better at climbing than me, and she's managed to get herself up over, and we've ran off. Meanwhile, we can hear sirens and we're running, and we've gone up because we've got the downs, so it's loads of hills and stuff like that. So we ran straight towards the downs, because we're if we're walking through the streets, they're gonna catch me. So we've walked all through the downs, and that way I got to somebody's house. So I kind of gone up there and took a detour so they couldn't find me. So yeah, I escaped and outsmarted them 3 times. How, I do not know. When I think about it, it's absolutely mental that even happened. It's just crazy. But obviously in the end they did catch up to me. I got in a fight in a pub. The police did come, unfortunately, and I do feel bad for this because she didn't deserve it. I did end up knocking the police officer out. I did go to prison. Yeah, I did deserve to go to prison. And you know what? Going to prison saved me. So although I laugh about escaping the police, that's funny, but what I did, some of the things I did do, I'm not proud of. I do regret a lot of things, but if just because I get animated when I'm talking about certain things doesn't mean that I'm proud of some of the things I've done. But I am changed. Well, I have changed. I've turned my whole life around. I haven't touched any substances, not even alcohol, in over a year. My kids are back, and I'm helping people who are going through domestic abuse. So that is my story time for today. And on Saturday is episode 2 of Banged Up in Bronzefield. So I'm the True Crime Whisperer. turn your notifications on, and check out Banged Up in Bronzefield on Saturday.